In a quiet town nestled between gentle hills and lush forests, lived a man named Aarav. He was a bright thinker, curious and detail-oriented, always trying to make the best decisions in life. But there was one thing that often held him back overthinking. Aarav had a good job, a loving family, and many opportunities in front of him. Yet he constantly worried, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if things don't go as planned? Every choice, no matter how small, felt like a life-altering decision. He would stay up late, pondering conversations, analyzing whether he said something wrong. He would reread emails 10 times before hitting send. He feared making mistakes so much that he sometimes made none at all, choosing inaction over imperfection. One day, after a sleepless night filled with swirling thoughts, Aarav went to a nearby park to clear his mind. There, he saw an elderly professor sitting on a bench, quietly observing the world. The professor noticed Aarav's tired face and said kindly, "You look like someone with a storm in his mind." Aarav chuckled sadly. "I can't seem to turn off my thoughts. Every decision feels like I'm holding the world in my hands. I worry too much." The professor nodded and said, "Come with me." They walked to a small classroom nearby, where the professor often gave free evening lectures. Inside, the professor handed Aarav a glass of water. "How heavy is this glass?" the professor asked. Aarav weighed it in his hand. "About half a pound, maybe." The professor smiled. "The actual weight doesn't matter. What matters is how long you hold it. Hold it for a minute, and it feels light. Hold it for an hour, and your arm will ache. Hold it all day, and your arm will go numb and eventually paralyzed. The weight doesn't change, but the longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes." Then the professor said something that stayed with Aarav forever. "That glass is like your thoughts. Worrying about them for a short while is normal. But if you hold on to them too long, they start to hurt. And the only way to stop the pain is to put the glass down." Aarav was silent. The message was simple, yet powerful. From that day, he began to recognize the thoughts that drained him. When overthinking started, he asked himself, "Is this useful? Is this helping me right now?" If not, he learned to gently put the thought down, just like the glass. He wasn't perfect. Some days, his mind still raced, but he learned to take breaks, breathe, and step back. Slowly, he began to live more in the present, act more freely, and trust himself a little more each day. Aarav's life didn't change overnight, but he did. And that made all the difference. Moral of the story: overthinking is like holding a glass for too long. The weight becomes unbearable, not because it's heavy, but because you never put it down. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Take action, trust yourself, and learn to rest your mind.